Hello and welcome to the Inside Stylist podcast, where we talk all about interiors with interviews with interior stylists, writers and the big names in interiors, from brands and PRs to artists and designers. I also catch up with industry experts in the know and get them to share all their knowledge and advice. There's so much to talk about. I'm your host, Emma Morton-Turner, an interior stylist and a writer with a ton of experience. I set up InsideStylist.com so I could share all that interiors love with you. So don't forget to head on over to the website for not only the show notes from today's episode, but for links to interior stylists, writers and assistants profiles, and a ton of inspiration. But for now, enjoy the show. So, this episode is called 12 Productive Things Freelancers Can Do During the Dreaded Downtime. This podcast came about from a conversation I had with an interior stylist who has probably been doing this for longer than I have. And she was saying how she had a week where she didn't have any work on, and rather than getting stressed about not having work lined up, and I know for a fact that she's had a ton of work this year, she was just going to take it easy and have a week off and do some fun things. And we got talking about it, and I thought this is a really important thing to talk about, because people do get very stressy about not having work lined up all the time, about feeling guilty when you don't have anything to do, and how you should go about going and getting more work. And actually, down the line, I mean, I've been freelance nearly 10 years. I've learned that you have to just have faith that the work will come, because it always does, and not feel guilty about having a little bit of downtime and doing some stuff for yourself. But there are so many things you can do that can help you relax, be ready for the next feature or shoot, and get yourself in a really strong position. And that's what this episode is all about. So there are 12. So let's get started. Number 1, take time out to do something you love. So this is the perfect time to visit friends who've moved to the Midlands, or to take long country walks, sleep in late, binge watch box sets. And what I'm talking about here is proper relaxation. Just chill. It's not about feeling down and not wanting to get out of bed. It's enjoying the time that you can spend in bed because you don't have to get up. And if you've got to go and do the school run in the rain, in the cold, go do the school run, but then come home and have a bath and just chill. Give yourself some official quality downtime. It's really important to give yourself that nurturing time, that kind of nurturing your soul and looking after yourself. And it might sound a bit mumbo jumbo-y, but we are so full on all the time that it's so important to actually stop every now and again. Number 2, keep ahead of trends and designs. How many times have you promised yourself a long visit to Chelsea Harbour Design Centre to really see what's going on in different fabric houses, checking out what the fabrics and the wallpapers are coming into the interiors world? There are so many new designs all the time, and it's really good to get out there and meet the people behind the brands, talk about the stories, really understand what's going on, see the new collections coming through. And it's really nice to be able to do that when you're not thinking about one specific job, so you can just take in all of the colours and the textures and the designs. It's such an inspiring place, so I would definitely recommend, if you get the chance, go and have a good hangout there. Also, they do really good coffee. Number 3, get out and about. There is nothing like visiting a gallery or an art exhibition, going to events or meetups for getting inspired. And that could be about seeing a new colour combination. Like I went to the Dulwich Picture House this half term with my daughters, and we'd never been before, and it's really near to us. But I knew it was oldie worldy Renaissance sort of art, which isn't really what floats my boat, but I was still really keen to go. And they had a Rembrandt exhibition on, all about how he uses light. And what I actually took away from that visit was their pasta donatas are not very good. But apart from that, the way they hang the art with these huge gold, very ornate frames, which are just fabulous. But the colours on the walls are spectacular. They're really strong. It's like one main hall with a number of different big rooms off of it. It's not huge by any means, but it was really impactful. And they have these kind of panels that don't look like panels. And I was like, that's a really clever way of displaying art. That's a really good way of creating a design on a wall without it being a design. And I can kind of see how I could do that in a shoot or a feature in the future. So it's kind of like it was very inspiring. So I was really glad that we went there. Another thing that might be really inspiring is going to see Anthony Gormley at the RA, or going to see Tim Walker at the V&A, which I went to see a couple of weeks ago, and it's absolutely fabulous. It's so interesting how he takes pieces from around the V&A and then interprets them into photography for fashion. Just mind-blowing. I get all goosebumpy when I go around places like that are so good, and that was excellent. Absolutely fabulous. Yeah, you do think I liked it? I'm a bit of a fan in general, but I really like that. And then, of course, if you go to events, now obviously I'm going to say like the Stylish Supper Club, you'll meet like-minded people and you never know who you're going to meet. You don't know what they're going to talk about. You don't know where you're going to be inspired. You might meet someone you can do a collaboration with. There might be someone who is friendly with a brand who might want to do a shoot. You just never know what you're going to do. So it's really important to get out and about. Number 4, update your inside stylists and other profiles. So how many times have you said, I must add my latest work to my inside stylist profile or your website? Now is the perfect time to do it. And things like your LinkedIn profile, your social media, your Facebook, your Instagram, anywhere like that, have a double check, because I don't really look at them very often, but it's really important to make sure that they are fresh. Maybe update your photos on them so people can notice that something's changed and they look a bit further. Now's the perfect time to add all those details. Number 5, connect with past clients. When's the last time you picked up the phone to chat with a past client? It's so much easier to retain an existing client than to find a new one. And you never know what they're going to be working on. So you might just call just at the right time. They might have a feature or a shoot coming up and you call just as they're thinking, who should we get? And don't email, because emails are so easy to ignore. And you can't get your personality across in an email in the same way you can with a conversation. It's always good to chat, catch up. And if you don't know what to say when you phone, other than please book me, I don't want to starve to death, ask them for something like a testimonial to put on your website, or just find out what they're working on. Or if you've got a blog, find out what they're doing, if there's anything that you can include, if there's anything new coming up, you want to keep ahead of their trends. Just think of reasons to call other than sounding desperate for work. Number 6, get outdoors, like literally. We spend so much time in front of our screens or racing through high streets with props and bags and plants flapping in the wind that actually a long, slow walk can be so good for you. I mean, things like seeing the seasons. I absolutely love that I have a dog and I can walk and see the seasons change. I mean, I'm a proper autumn personality. I am loving the colours at the moment. But it's really easy if you don't have a dog to just miss the whole changing of the sceneries and getting the fresh air and getting that vitamin D that you really need. If you need a dog, I do loan out Alan Taylor anytime to any of my interior stylist writer buddies. Number 7, go for coffee. I've said it before, but catching up with a PR is a really good way to spend your time. It's good to catch up on what their clients have got coming up. You get to hear about all the backstories of where things are going. You get ahead of things. PRs love sharing their clients' products with you. They'll literally bring a boatload of press releases and lookbooks, and it might spark an idea. They might, again, decide that there's something that you can do with them. Likewise, meeting for coffee doesn't just have to be about PRs. Meeting up with other stylists or writer friends is a really good way to reassure yourself that just because you have downtime, it doesn't mean you're the only one. There are others too. You are not alone. Number 8, update your rate card. So, still probably the best piece of paperwork I have ever done for my business is creating a rate card. It means I can talk about money really easily without even opening my mouth, and using this quiet downtime to add any new details you might have to add. You might be able to add new clients that are impressive, people might want to know about. Always good to keep that updated. I'm going to do a blog post about rate cards because I think it's probably the question I get asked the most is, how do you do a rate card? What do you put on it? How does it look? I did actually record a podcast all about making a rate card. It was episode 46 if you want to go back and have a look. I'll link it in the show notes. If you're on a podcast on your phone, I will link it in the show notes there so you can click straight through and listen. But I will do a blog poster because I think it's going to be very beneficial to people. But if you don't have one or you haven't looked at yours for a little while, downtime is a really good time to update yours. Number 9, learn something new. So whether it's just for fun or to widen your horizon, it's a really good idea to do something new, whether it's learning a skill or just something you want to try out. Maybe you want to do life classes or pottery or how to cook Italian meals, or something like calligraphy that you can use on a shoot, or digital marketing so you can understand the way the online world is working and how you can benefit from that, or whatever it is, go and change your perspective in your world, because even for a day or two, it makes such a difference. Number 10, please don't hate me. I'm going to say the dreaded T word. Do your tax return. If you get your invoices and your receipts in order now, just think how quick it will be to do your tax return when it's due. Also, if you do it ahead, you know exactly how much money you need to put aside, you know what you're aiming for, and it gives you peace of mind like nothing else. I'm going to move on to the next one really quickly. Okay, number 11, get organised. Now, I'm not talking tidying up and Marie Kondoing your office, although that would be very good. In fact, that might even be the next number. I'm talking about the deeper gigabyte side of tidying up. I'm talking about cleaning up your desktop, your Mac, your phone, getting through your photos, removing and getting rid of any old emails, any messages, anything that will use up your data and slow down your devices. You'll find everything works so much quicker, and it's one of those things that's a real bore to do, but actually makes such a difference. And lastly, number 12, this is the Marie Kondo bit. Tidy up your swatches, your props, your bookshelves. Do you remember when you were just starting out and you were doing work experience or assisting and you got asked to go and tidy the prop cupboard? How good did it feel afterwards? I loved doing that. I still love doing it now. It's something about new storage boxes and putting your props all together and knowing all your candles are in one box and your books are all in another. And if you've got tons of fabric swatches and wallpapers and carpet and tile samples, sort them out. Do you have tons and tons of books on your shelves that there's no more room and then are piling up on the floor? Now is the perfect time to go through everything and sort it out into an easy to understand system and get the rest off to charity. Tidying and organising is like therapy. It's been proven to lift your mood. So if you're feeling down about not being booked right now, the key is to go and tidy. So those are my 12 productive things that freelancers can do during downtime. I really hope you found this useful. If you have something that you do during downtime and you think it would be beneficial for other people to know, then please head on over to the show notes and leave a comment below, or on the Instagram post that will accompany this podcast. It'd be good to share the knowledge and share what other people do. Anyway, catch you next time. Thanks for listening to the Inside Stylist podcast. You can find all the details from today's episode over in the show notes on insidestylist.com. If you enjoyed the show, I'd love it if you would head on over to iTunes and rate and review it. It's the best way to help other people find the show, and I'd really appreciate it. Until next time, bye for now.